Welcome to Parque del Oeste, is situated between Autovia A6 and Ciudad Universitaria and also in the district of Monclova.
The Parque del Oeste is one of the largest parks in Madrid. This park is one of Madrid's landscape spaces, a style that was introduced in Madrid by the Duchess of Osana when the garden of El Capricho de Alameda de Osana were built. In 1985, the community of Madrid granted Parque del Oeste the character of historical park. Parque del Oeste was the first public park created in Madrid. Its construction began in 1893, although the inauguration is dated September 3, 1905. The creator of the park was the agricultural engineer Celedonio Rodriguez y Vallejo, Director of Gardens and Plants of the City Council at that time. The land on which Rodriguez built the park constituted Tierra de San Antonio, located northwest of Madrid. The first phase of the construction of the Parque del Oeste had 37 hectares of surface. In 1906, when Alberto Aguilera was mayor of Madrid, a second phase began, adding 3 hectares parallel to the Paseo del Pintor Rosales. This second phase culminated 8 years later in 1914. Starting this year and during the Spanish Civil War, the Parque del Oeste was a front line where trenches and bunkers were opened. In those 4 years of warfare, bombs razed some plantation and destroyed several monuments. After the end of the war, the head of the municipal park, Cecilio Rodriguez, began the reconstruction of the park, which lasted until the 1940s. During the reconstruction, the park was also extended to the Rosalida, the Tinaja Park and the Temple of the Bud, reaching the Paseo del Pintor Rosales and the North Station. The Museum of America is a Spanish national museum based in Madrid at number 6 of the Avenida de los Reyes Católicos in the University City. It was created by the decree of April 19, 1941 as a demarcation of the collection of American archaeology, art, and ethnography that until then belonged to the National Archaeological Museum. The museum is state-owned and directly managed by the Ministry of Culture, currently the Ministry of Culture and Sports. Organically, it depends on the General Directorate of the Fine Arts, specifically the Sub-Directorate General for State Museum. It has more than 25,000 works, ranging chronologically from the Paleolithic to the present day and covering the entire continent. It collects all kinds of archaeological, artistic, and ethnographic pieces from or related to the New World, except those of numismatics which are essentially preserved in National Archaeological Museum, and those of modern art in the Museo Nacional Centro de Arte de Reina Sofía. Let's have a short trivia, folks. The history of basketball began with its invention in 1891 in Springfield, Massachusetts by Canadian physical education instructor James Naismith as a less injury-prone sport than football. Naismith was a 31-year-old graduate student when he created the indoor sport to keep athletes indoor during the winter. This sport was first introduced to the Philippine public school system by the Americans as a women's sport in 1910 and was played in interscholastic meets in 1911 until 1913. The Philippines became a member of FIBA through the Basketball Association of the Philippines in 1936. In that small playground, we can see our countrymen or kababayan comporting themselves by playing basketball, even though we are in the midst of the pandemic crisis.
The old name Mentonet is now the present name of volleyball, and it was invented by William J. Morgan, a graduate of Springfield College of YMCA, 4 years after the basketball was invented. This volleyball is a combination of basketball, volleyball, tennis, and handball. The volleyball.
Warm up lang yun, kararating lang dito yung score.
The Parque del Oeste houses 40 characteristic statues and monuments distributed throughout the park, most of them famous people in Madrid. Each statue is numbered, making it easier for tourists to find them on the park map. The monuments that are erected in the Parque del Oeste represent various famous personalities